morning at the Engineering. I'm Patricia Huntsman, and on behalf of this year's National Summit Steering Committee, it is an honor to introduce one of Canada's top international cultural leaders and our keynote speaker here today. Janice Price began her leadership path as a marketer and PR professional at some of Canada's most famous performing arts organizations, including the Stratford Festival, Hummingbird Centre, Roy Thompson Hall, and Massey Hall. She was recruited to the U.S. as Vice President of Marketing for the iconic Lincoln Center, and eventually interim executive director before moving into the role of President and CEO of Philadelphia's Kimball Center for the Performing Arts. She returned to Canada as Luminato Festival's founding CEO, where she grew Luminato to be one of the world's largest and respected multi-arts festivals, reaching over 800,000 audience members annually and commissioning 75 new works in its first 8 seasons. A former board member with FAME, the Festival and Major Events Coalition, Culture Days, and like so many of you here today, an eternal arts advocate, Janice is now the president and CEO of Banff Centre for Arts and Creativity, Canada's home for arts education and training. Please join me in welcoming Janice Price.
Thank you, Patricia. Good morning, everyone. I wish I could have been here yesterday. I had some business I had to do with the government of Alberta in Calgary, and so arrived quite late last evening, but was perusing with interest the program, and it looks like you have a wonderful few days together. It really is wonderful to be with all of you today, so many creative people and leaders. I had to pick a topic. My dear colleague Sarah Eiley, who knows the organization well, said, you know, maybe take a bit of a leadership angle on this. In my view, as I look at the delegate list here, any one of you could be up here speaking and sharing your experiences, and I'm sure many of you have, and you'll do so over lunch. So I'm just going to try to take a little bit of a lens to some of what I have experienced in my time in many arts organizations, both in Canada and the United States. And hopefully, you know, a lot of times gatherings like this are so that you can have moments when you go, I'm not crazy. Yes, other people are going through this as well. So it's only one small sliver of some of my experience in the creative fields. So I just want to open a little bit with who is here today. And I know you're all a group of passionate and creative people from different parts of the country interested in how culture and creativity can build communities. But how many come from a large city, 5 million or less? Yeah. Well, 5 million. Okay. That was a little confusing. I'll pass that on to my head of communications. 5 million or more, 1 million or more. A few of those in the room as well. 500,000. So I could keep going until I'm down to 10,000 or less, because that's now my community, the town of Banff. Yay! So there's some others here who are in smaller communities. And so I'm coming, I guess, from one of the smaller of our creative cities, or towns in my case. But I raise that because I'm sure you would all agree that regardless of size, you're all at the core of the creativity in your city or your town, and know as I do, and believe as I do, that it's important to keep creativity at the core of everything we do. So I've seen this throughout my career in Toronto, Stratford, New York, Philadelphia. It sounds like I can't hold a job. Not true. But here's the current home. Not so bad. I bet many of you have had some experiences at Banff Centre, either as colleagues, employees, or artists visiting this beautiful, beautiful place. I know there's a laser here, but I won't even try to point out my house, but it's right there. It's on that slide. So, as Patricia said, Banff Centre for Arts and Creativity, our beautiful home on Treaty 7 land in Banff National Park, Canada's first national park and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So I know you guys have your mountains. We kind of are partial to these ones in Banff. It's very easy to see the simple beauty of the place and see it only existing in its small mountain bubble. But like all our towns and cities, we do exist, as you know, in a larger, more complicated and interconnected cultural ecosystem. A world that is evolving at an unprecedented pace, lots of challenges and uncertainties that we've never seen before, a lot of broad disruptive innovations and reinventions. They're changing markets, they're changing our sector and others, they're changing countries and the lives of individuals everywhere. And these dramatic shifts are also providing an extraordinary and uniquely Canadian moment. More than ever, the world is recognizing Canada's strength and leadership in taking creative approaches to change, to diversity, reconciliation, immigration, environmental issues, and arts and culture. UNESCO's first worldwide study on the economic contribution of the creative industries in 2015 identified several of Canada's creative industries as benchmarks. In 2016, as you all know, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Minister of Heritage Melanie Joly pledged an unprecedented $1.9 billion to foster the creation of Canadian content and arts exports to increase international audiences for Canadian creative artists and professionals. So this support is a clear and welcome message that creative expression is not ornamental, it is fundamental to who we are and how we see ourselves and how we're seen in the world. So this is the backdrop for Banff Centre's commitment to arts and creativity. Artists help us make sense of our world, they tell our stories, they offer different perspectives, and they show us new and powerful ways to see and understand the world. They help us define, celebrate, and share our cultures the world over. Creativity is now globally recognized as an essential 21st century skill. As we seek to contribute to our communities, set expectations for our leaders, and we should, and find meaning for ourselves, Canada's creativity is in all of us and it is for everyone. At Banff Centre for Arts and Creativity, we've been welcoming extraordinary artists and leaders to Treaty 7 land for over 80 years. The breadth and the substance of our offerings as a post-secondary institution specialized in arts and culture is unequaled anywhere in the world. We've looked, we can't find a place that really is exactly like Banff. It was born during the Great Depression with an extraordinary vision to develop artistic and creative potential in artists and leaders from Canada and around the world, and we do stay true to that mission today. We're going to talk a little bit about our recent rebranding. So while we may be in a town of 9,000 people that also welcomes millions of visitors every year, as you know, Banff Centre sees thousands of the world's finest artists and leaders grace our campus for educational programs, artistic performances, and of course keeping creativity at the core of this small mountain town. It's a very special place indeed, and I'm extremely proud and honored to have been given the opportunity just over a year and a half ago to arrive in Banff to lead the organization through its next few decades. So I'm going to give you a glimpse of the breadth of artists and the kind of work we're doing at Banff by showing you a short video.